Hey everybody, how's it going? So I really wanted to talk about Madison and the possibility of her being in the Rick and Michonne show. And obviously, in order for this to happen, the show would have to be renewed for a season 2. Madison would have to survive Fear the Walking Dead season 8, right? And then we'd have to see Madison obviously, go on that show and stuff. And I mean, we're so far away from that point right now because the story for season 8 has to play out. Same for the Rick and Michonne show. But yesterday in that video, I was talking a lot about the future of The Walking Dead and just what it could look like. And I just, I've been really wanting to get around to doing this video talking specifically about Madison and just the whole thing about that character. And yeah, because obviously people have been wanting to see her for a while and she's back now, but we've technically only seen her for one episode. We're going to see her again here in the final season. And is that just it? All this hype for the last couple of years just for this? So yeah, I want to get into that here. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Also, definitely go follow me on Twitch if you haven't yet. My channel name is Appetite for the Dead. The link is in the description. Definitely go follow me on Discord as well. I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of Minecraft and other games and stuff as well, like Demonologist and Phasmophobia and etc. The Minecraft server, I definitely it's run by a moderator on my Discord actually, and it's really incredible. A lot of people have joined that server. A lot of people have made really incredible creations like the Hilltop and a lot of other communities. It's just absolutely incredible. I'm so, every time I play it, I'm so blown away by what everyone has done. Honestly, just really incredible stuff. Yeah, so definitely if you want to see more of that kind of stuff and all of that, definitely go follow me on Twitch. Have notifications on and stuff so you get notified when I do go live. The Twitch channel is slowly starting to get better and better. Me and my brother were kind of looking at some stuff to do face cam in terms of green screen stuff, because my biggest issue with, and that's the case for even doing videos here, is I got face cam and stuff like that. For one, I have to wear glasses. I just can't see anything I'm reading on the screen, and two, my background isn't really that appealing. But I think with Nvidia, or there's a program there anyways where it automatically crops you out, and I was actually trying it and it actually works really well and it looks really cool. So yeah, the Twitch channel definitely is going to be starting to get a lot better, and definitely right on time for a lot of the shows happening this summer, because what I'm going to be doing a lot this summer is doing live streams talking about the episodes and doing reviews and stuff on Twitch. And it's not going to take away from anything on here. Everything on my channel here is going to be exactly the same. It's just going to be more Q&A stuff and more discussions and all of that on there. And I'm very excited for that, especially for Comic-Con. I really can't wait. So definitely go follow me on Twitch. I apologize, I've been kind of rambling here a little bit about this, but Madison as a character, I will say I've always been a fan of the character. I think going back to season 1, I was never really on the side of I can't stand Madison, because I know a lot of people felt that. But the one criticism that I've always had, it really had nothing to do with Madison as a character. It was more that Madison was the lead. In season 1, the main character really was Nick. There was just something about that character that everyone found so appealing, and I think that the writers should have just went with that. It's different to look back at it now because obviously we saw what his story was like, but he definitely was a lead character, and his story was the most appealing. Madison's story on Fear the Walking Dead, it was essentially the same thing as Rick's, right? Madison and Rick, I don't want to say they're the same character, but they have very similar qualities, right? And they're both parents, they're both trying to keep their children safe, and it was a lot of the approach to, the first couple of seasons to Fear really was just from that aspect to it. And I felt like in season 1, whenever we got Nick's story and just seeing the struggles that he had, it was something that was just very different and unique. And I think a lot of people, fell in love with that character. And that's why I think Nick, even to this day, that's why he's one of the best characters on that show. It's why he's a fan favorite. Honestly, I feel like if you polled fans right now, just specifically on Fear the Walking Dead characters, Nick would be number 1. They didn't really give him a lot in season 2 and 3, and I remember just kind of feeling like I wanted the focus to be more on that character because he was just so fascinating. It was just different because he was much younger, he had struggles, and it was just seeing how he was experiencing the apocalypse. And he also had a family and stuff too, right? He had his sister and his mom, and it was an interesting dynamic. And I think I don't want to say they messed that up, because the thing is, Madison does work as a lead. She is a really great character. It's just she wasn't the fan favorite. She wasn't, the most exciting part of the show back then. Imagine if if in the first a couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, they focused a lot on Daryl, and then Rick was sort of the side character. Like, people would be really wanting more story with Rick, more screen time with Rick, but they kept giving us Daryl or something. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Daryl. I'm giving an example, right? Like, I just felt like they handled the lead character situation wrong on Fear the Walking Dead. But Madison, still as a character, is still a very great character. She was, besides Nick, she is my favorite character on Fear the Walking Dead. I'd say she's my second favorite character now. I think for the longest time, Strand was my favorite character. And then in season 7, I don't know what they did to that character. But Strand is it's very frustrating right now in terms of how they're crafting that character. Because it's just, is he good? Is he evil? What are they doing with him right now? And so Madison, I would say, definitely is up there. And her death on the show was something that a lot of people found really frustrating. And even going back to season 4, I felt like if they never killed Nick off, it would have been fine. Maybe they could have done something with the story, but we know what the story was like for those characters then. Fast forward to now, and she's back, right? And she has a very unique story. She's a villain, but it looks like she's not going to necessarily be a villain anymore. It seems like in the first couple of episodes here, she's going to switch sides, and she'll be with Daniel and everyone else again. So that's exciting, just to see all the reunions and stuff like that. And her story in season 8, it really does seem like it's going to be more of a redemption story. I think they're going to explore a lot of who is she, I guess recovery from, what she dealt with in the last couple of years, or basically since her death episode, right, in season 4's mid-season finale. Can we get a conclusion to this character's story here in season 8? I don't think so. I personally, it's sort of the same situation with Rick and Michonne as well. I don't see how they can properly close Rick and Michonne's story and have it feel, satisfying, because it's only 6 episodes. It's going to be so fast, right? Madison just got back. And what, is her story going to end here in season 8? Like, that's it? No, I don't think so. And I do think there's going to be a lot more story to tell here with her. And so that's why I'm sort of bringing up the idea of, I'm not even bringing up the idea. This is something that fans have been wanting for a long time. Honestly, in terms of crossovers, Madison and Rick meeting is something that people have been wanting for, years now, like a very, very long time. And I think if we did get that on the Rick and Michonne show, it would be so epic. And it would have to be Morgan and Madison. I really do like those two characters running into Rick and Michonne. I think it's just something that that dynamic there with all 4 of them, I think could be really epic. I think fans would be so excited. But how, right? How do they do that? How do they get Madison on the Rick and Michonne show? It would have to do a lot with the CRM plot and some of the stuff with Padre and all of that. But I think it could definitely work. I think Madison, in terms of my predictions for how her story should end on Fear the Walking Dead, I don't want her dying. I really don't. I think if they killed her off now, it would just be rushed. It would be way too fast. I think from even a business point of view, I don't think they're going to want to kill her off, because I remember a couple of years ago, and I'm sure you guys do too as well, they did a poll. They asked fans, why are you watching Fear the Walking Dead? And I think one of the questions, or it was one of the most voted or whatever responses, it was basically to see if Madison returns, or it was something like that. I know that was a big part of it. And so clearly they know that that's what fans want, right? Fans want Madison to return, and she's back. And look at that. There was a lot of excitement. I know season 7 was bad, but there's still that excitement there for Madison. And I can't wait to see what she's going to bring in season 8. But to end her story this fast, it feels like a waste, right? So I think there's going to be more stuff there. Rick and Michonne, if we do get a season 2, that's the thing. Obviously I'm very excited for the Rick and Michonne show. I really can't wait to see how that story is going to play out. But the exciting stuff for me really is if they do a season 2 and we have Rick and Michonne reuniting with every other character, like Madison, Morgan, Daryl, or Carol, or whoever, right? And they're just having those conversations, all those characters being together, fighting this new villain or this new group, or trying to survive sort of thing, right? That's the stuff that I really want. I just think we're at the place right now with the Walking Dead universe where we should really be making this a universe. We should be having these crossovers. I think these Fear characters should be on these shows. And I think it should be all 3 shows. I guess the Daryl Dixon show, that's the thing. It's kind of hard to do it with that show because Daryl's in France. So you would have to somehow pull that off. I don't know what you would do. I think if anything, maybe it's a season 3 thing for that show, because I think they're filming season 2 for the Daryl show right now. and I think they're still filming in France. So maybe season 3 they come back to America and whatnot. But I think that's what we need, is we need to see a lot more of these crossovers, because it creates that much more excitement. And I think that's where fans are at right now, to be honest. Like, I think fans want to see a lot more of this. They want to see a lot of these promises, a lot of these teases that Gimple and others have been giving us really for years now. Like, honestly, going back to season 8, season 9, and 10, like, Gimple always talked about, like, this thing here, this could mean this and that. The universe is so bright, kind of thing. Like, there could be crossovers. We could be doing this or that. And it just really felt like we were going to get, like, this very epic, or one day anyways, get this very epic, like, Avengers style just moment where everyone was together just in this area fighting zombies or something like that, right? Obviously they would have to do it differently. They couldn't do it like that on the show, I know, but it just really felt like there was going to be something like that, a big moment, something so triumphant that it just ended the story so epically. And then maybe there was some deaths, there was some sad moments or whatever, but then it ended, everyone's safe, everyone back home, and it's just sort of, that's the end of that era, right? The era of all these characters is over. Just do whatever you want at that point, right? Like, just do something with Judith and RJ, fast forward 20 years or whatever, right? And we haven't gotten that yet. Like, the Commonwealth arc definitely wasn't that. It really wasn't that. Like, I enjoyed the arc because I enjoyed watching it because I thought there was going to be some Rick and CRM stuff, and eventually there was, but not what I thought. I don't know if I can go back and rewatch it, just because, like, it really was just like, that was just the arc. It was just the Commonwealth arc, and it's not that exciting to me. It's the same thing as the comic too. It just wasn't that exciting, which is crazy looking back at it now, because I was so excited for season 11. Like, even watching it from episode to episode, even all year last year, I was so hyped for the last 8 episodes. Even while watching the last 8, I was so hyped for the next one, and I kept thinking they were going to build to something, and they did. I really did like the last episode. It's definitely one of the best episodes of all time. The Rick and Michonne scenes, really incredible. I like how they ended everyone's stories. It's just, I guess looking back at it now, like, now that we're so far away from the finale, yeah, I can definitely see, I think they could have done a lot more there, to end the show and make it a little bit more personal. But is it because they're planning to expand all of this and to do a lot of this stuff? And the answer really is, yeah, like, that's exactly it. Like, Daryl didn't die, Carol, Maggie, Negan, none of them were dying because they all have spinoffs, and they're planning to reintroduce these characters, right? So, like, that's why I think Fear the Walking Dead season 8 is going to have very similar aspects to it, where a lot of characters probably aren't going to die because they're going to get spin-offs and stuff. I just, there's going to be some characters on Fear the Walking Dead that are recognizable, like a character like Daniel. Could he get his own spin-off one day? Probably not. I don't think he's going to get his own spin-off, but yeah, I mean, he would be a good character to be in a spin-off, but I see him being a character that could be killed off here in season 8. Like, I think they're going to be killing off, the more recognizable characters that are from season 1, but I do think that's what their overall plan is here, and I do think that's how season 8 is going to play out. Personally, I see it playing out exactly like that, exactly like season 11, and I could see Madison, joining the Rick and Michonne spinoff in season 2. It's something that I would absolutely love. I would really love to see that character a part of that show. If they're going to do a season 2, obviously. And that's the thing too. Like, if she's not going to be in that show, fine. What other spinoff could she be in? She could be in Dead City. That also works as well. I mostly just want the Rick and Madison, like, meeting. I really want to see that. I don't know if we're ever going to get that, just because both of those characters were the leads of both shows. So I want to see those characters meet at some point, right? But, like, if she was on Dead City, I'm sure they could do something there in terms of, I guess, reuniting with Alicia. But again, like, I've been talking about it for a while. I want Dwight and Sherry on Dead City. And if you had all of those characters on Dead City, it would just feel like Maggie and Negan basically joined Fear the Walking Dead, right? So you can't necessarily do that. You do have to split it up a little bit. And yeah, I would just love to see Madison on the Rick and Michonne show. I think it would be really great, first of all, if Morgan's with Madison. There's that aspect to it. If you eventually have Alicia, say, on Dead City, then it would be really cool, because then there'd be the question of, well, if Madison and Alicia reunite, does that mean that Maggie and Negan are going to reunite with Rick and Michonne, right? So there's a lot of really cool parts there, and I think it's exciting. It's something that I really want to see, but it's just, are we going to get that at all? What is the plan here for the Walking Dead universe? Because it just seemed like they were really building up to something. And I'm not saying they're not anymore. It's just we're at the start of something right now, right? So obviously we're going to have a lot of these questions here. And I hope Gimple gets into it here at Comic-Con or maybe sometime before then. But Comic-Con, I'm expecting a lot more answers on these spinoffs and just, you know, what his overall plan is. Because right now they're in build-up mode for The Walking Dead, right? Like they ended everything. Now they really want to build it all up again. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. Do you want Madison and Rick to ever meet? Would you like to see Madison on that show if they were to do a season 2? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.